Now, time for a regular feature on this show, Mark. I'm sure you've watched in the past. The regular feature where we leave the important constitutional issues that affect the royal family and the fabric of this nation, and we move on to jam. or
back in jam.
Or do we call it spread? I think it's officially a spread. But fill me in. Again, I rarely watch Meghan's Instagram. Bronte, I know you're all over social media and Instagram, but it's now a family business, her As Ever brand, because she has revealed, am I right with this, that she's revealed that her whole family loves her spread. Harry loves the raspberry. Lily loves strawberry best, and Archie apparently likes them both. Fair enough. And Meghan, her favourite is the marmalade. Help me out, Bronte.
From Andrew to this topic. What a swing.
I mean, marmalade brings up issues of Paddington Bear, by the way, just putting it out.
Well, yes, it's very British. Yes, she has used... the family were brought in on the latest rollout of advertising As Ever, and this jam, which I cannot believe how much of our lives has been spent on jam. As a royal reporter, I never thought this day would come. But
well, you know we could get sued for calling it jam.
Spread. That you are right.
And the reason why is because it's so sickly and runny that the US food authorities have said you can't call it jam.
So it is spread. You're exactly right. You are right. So basically, she's spoken about the family. You know, there was such a hesitation, it seemed, from her when she first rolled out this Instagram and the company early last year to bring in the family. But now we've got Harry's favourite spread. We've got the kids' favourite spread. And it, you know, as people have pointed out, it does appear to be part of a pattern of bringing them in more. But this is the first time she's really spoken about them in this sort of way with advertising the brand.
Mark, should she be using Lily and Archie? I'm trying to remember their ages off the top of my head, but they're too young to realise what's going on. Should she be using them to sell her jam?
No, they are the Duke and Duchess of double standards. They left the royal family because they wanted to escape the goldfish bowl and they wanted their children to have normal lives. Well, if you want that, then why don't you do what Princess Anne did and not call your children Princess Zara and Prince Peter? And they've, of course, those two, Zara Phillips and Peter Phillips, have grown up to be really well-adjusted people. And Peter's about to get married, of course. Harry, famously, not invited. That's another story. But, you know, this is shocking. It's egregious hypocrisy. And it's what we've come to expect from the Sussexes. And I should really say Meghan, because Meghan has decided to make Archie and Lily part of the brand now. Those posts on Instagram have gone beyond Archie's birthday or Christmas Day. The kids are involved in the anniversary celebrations. They're involved in Halloween, all of it plastered over social media. Meghan makes a speech in Switzerland in front of 11 people who are not very interested in looking at their watch at the time in order to talk about the dangers of social media and especially children. What does she do? She puts her kids on there. So the whole thing is really shocking. It also demonstrates how desperate she is. That commercial partnership with Netflix is over, which was very damaging. And it's my understanding that there are thousands of jars of unsold spread, some of which are gathering dust at Netflix HQ and being given away to members of staff. So, you know, this is where she's at. She's peddling her wares. The broadcast stuff is subject to the law of diminishing returns. We're not going to get another series of With Love, Meghan. So, yeah, it's desperate, it's hypocritical. And I just think it's deeply wrong, Matt, because I think those children, may God bless them, they've not chosen to be celebrities. Yes, they'll always be famous because of who their parents are, but she doesn't have to make it worse by leveraging them for clicks and for money.
Can I just say, I agree with what you're saying. I do think that, as I've said before here, I do think it comes down to the parents' decision of how much they choose to show of their children on social media. But when it comes to Harry and Meghan, but Meghan specifically, I think she's just backed herself into a corner because, of course, so much of the campaigning they've done in recent years, and I think rightly so, has been, you know, this crackdown for safety of children online, etc., and the big dangers of social media. They've really gone after the big tech companies. And this has been a huge part, as you say, even just a couple of weeks ago in Geneva, this has been a huge part of their post-working royal life. And yet at the same time, it's like she's only realised since launching Instagram last year that gradually we're seeing the kids more and more on there because the brand that she's trying to promote is very much a family-centric, homewares, homemaking sort of vibe. And so she's put herself, as I say, she's put herself in a corner because even with that speech in Geneva, something I found, look, the speech itself and the point itself, I agree there should be more safety for children online, but it was astounding to me that the night before she gave that speech, she posted the wardrobe picture with Lilibet, things like that
And
to
it's
me.
not Lily's birthday, it's not Christmas Day, it's not even Easter. There's no occasion. It's gratuitous, Matt.
It felt so odd to me for someone who is apparently very intelligent. I saw that and I thought that is such an own goal. It doesn't even, and I just think there are two things trying to exist here, which is that platform and that campaigning over here, which again I agree with in large part. But then at the same time, this growing realization that without the vehicle of Netflix promoting her company, she is the promotion solely, and that all exists on Instagram only.
It's a family business, and these Instagram posts are adverts. And she's using her family as part of the adverts.
Most definitely. All it is, Matt, is just goes against what she's saying about what she wants for the family and the dangers of social media. It's not responsible, I think, to use your children in a commercial campaign. I don't think it's right.
Now, these children, Lilibet and Archie, we don't see their faces. I mean, that's a parental decision, but we're beginning to learn more about them, beginning to know more about them. They are the king's grandchildren. They are, the future king's niece and nephew. Always get this wrong.
Yes,
yep, future
correct.
king's niece and nephew.
And they're going to be prince and princess.
And they're going to be prince and princess. How do you think the royal family, how do you think Buckingham Palace look at this and see Meghan parading them on adverts to sell her jam? Do you think that they are looking at this thinking they need to step in, or do you think they're going to be angry about this? What do you reckon?
I think it makes a reconciliation more difficult because, as you know, there can be no commercial transactions if you're a frontline member of the royal family. Therefore, bringing them back into the fold. Can you imagine Meghan has a face-to-face with King Charles? She's on the balcony at Buckingham Palace with Queen Camilla. Minutes later, the clothing she's wearing is available for purchase online. This is anathema to the royal family. It's existential. They cannot be commercial. They cannot be political. And there's another thing, and I think we can all agree on this, that whilst Meghan has brought Archie and Lily into the brand of Sussex Inc., there's one person that's not happy about this, the H-bomb himself, Harry, who has no interest in his kids being famous. His dream is for them to be private. And I mean, I personally think that Harry was duped by Meghan. I honestly think, it's just my view, that the whole marriage was a con trick, because it's my understanding that whilst they were frontline serving members of the royal family, that Meghan's in Harry's ear saying, listen, we're better than this. We can have such an amazing private life. Charlotte Griffiths, Knows Her Onions, top royal journalist, has said that Meghan performatively looked at properties in South Africa as a potential home for them post-Megxit. Was Meghan planning South Africa or a ranch in California? No, it was going to be Montecito. It was going to be Hollywood all the way. So it's just my view. I think Harry's not on board with this.
I do think there's a reluctance from him, surely, as you say, behind the scenes. You can't imagine that it's something that he really wants his kids exposed to. On the topic of look, it's obviously purely speculative to wonder about the status of their relationship, because depending where we read, either they're madly in love or about to get divorced. In Australia, sorry to bring this back up.
Bronte spent a week with him in Australia, watching their every move, and it's great to hear.
For this reason, because it was, hours on end with the two of them and trying to see that dynamic, because I'm curious about it, because you get different versions of this all the time. From what I saw, they were holding hands a lot. They were, he was throwing smiles at her across the room and things like that. And personally, that's what I witnessed. But you do have to wonder at this point that, all these years on from leaving the royal family, how their dynamic has changed, because obviously they are sort of on separate tracks, at least career-wise. Yeah. But then again, as I say, from viewing them, all I can say myself is that they did look very happy.
And Tom Bauer, who's the great critic of the Sussexes, has said that he thinks that they love each other, certainly that Harry's in love with Meghan.
People have said that to me repeatedly, because that was the other thing. Obviously, I then was asking around everyone, what's really going on? What's it like? What's behind closed doors? And people say they're madly in love. So
they have professionally uncoupled. But that's about it.
They've
gone separate ways professionally, but there are huge stresses, I would imagine, on this.
I think you're right. I think that, as you say, at the moment, all is good in the world of Harry and Meghan. But I think that there are these fault lines which are going to grow. How to raise the kids? They are a million miles apart on that one. He wants them jumping in puddles and face painting, and he doesn't want them on Instagram. He doesn't want them part of a commercial brand. He doesn't want them to be celebrities. And the reason why people that are born famous never crave fame, they see no value in it. He was born famous, it was miserable. He doesn't want the same for his kids, and that's exactly what Meghan's doing.
Now, we may have found some kind of harmony. We try to find harmony between the royal family as much as possible. It's not all conflict, as we've been talking about for the last half an hour. It's all conflicts. But we may have found royal family harmony with the good old-fashioned British scone, because it appears both Meghan and William agree that it's cream first and then jam, which quite frankly is the right way round to do it. We've spoken in the past about whether these kind of things are planned. Is this accidental? They've both put out the same message?
I've honestly in the past, I usually lean towards thinking these are deliberate moves. This one I think was a weird coincidence, but with that said, you're all wrong and it should be jam first, which is the most important part of this. It was funny that William went on that radio show and was talking about how, I think he spoke with the late Queen, said that it needed to be cream and then jam, and then the very next day, Meghan was rolling out her scones. My understanding is that they sort of build these little Instagram ad campaigns sometime in advance. But I did love that happened because of all the headlines recently. To have William and Meghan, of all people, in agreement on something so important I think it was on none of our bingo cards, but maybe that's the first step.